Hi, I'm Al. Welcome back to Al's Vinyl Collection. Today, after a little while, I've got another vinyl review for you. Now, I just want to firstly say, well, three things. Firstly, Happy New Year. Secondly, I'm joined with a guest today. She doesn't like it. I got my cat Stanzi with me. She's adamant on having a cuddle, and just absolutely would not sit outside for the duration of this review. And thirdly, if I look the same across the next maybe 3 reviews or something, I'm planning on bulk recording a few, mainly just to try and save time. Because I've realised today it takes a little while to set everything up to get this recording space set up. And I know I've changed for the 3rd time, but I'm going to do all this from my room from now on. I think it's a lot easier. So if I look the same, please excuse it. I'm probably just going to record about 4 reviews today and do it that way instead, because it's a little bit easier. So without further ado, the last vinyl review was acdc Power Age, and of course I am continuing through my collection in alphabetical order and chronological order. So if you're new, I've organised all my records alphabetically by artist, and then I've organised them chronologically by studio album release date, basically. I like to keep a little bit of law and order. So following Power Age, the next record in my collection is acdc Highway to Hell. Arguably one of the most famous and most popular both rock songs and albums. Definitely songs. Highway to Hell is definitely one of the most famous rock songs ever, regardless of opinion on it. I think just the name is probably one of the most recognisable names ever. So what I have here, let's have a quick look at the vinyl, at the packaging. Let me remove the plastic outer sleeve for you. So, a little bit battered, unfortunately. But I have here a 2003 repress and remaster of the original 1979 LP. Now, I have done some research prior to this review, so I can give you some facts about the album, aside from stuff that I know off the top of my head, and I can give you some background and some context. Only a little. I'm going to try and keep these reviews a little bit shorter. So what I'm going to do from now on is going to be obviously looking at the sleeve, looking at the outer, the actual card exterior, and then looking, or if it's a gatefold, examining the gatefold, and then looking at the inner sleeve, and then looking at the disc, and then looking through the track listing and talking about my favourite songs, with a little bit of history behind the LP thrown in. So Highway to Hell is acdc's 6th studio album, released in 1979, and of course, as I'm sure many of you know, it is the last album to feature Bon Scott, who tragically passed away on February 19th, 1980. Highway to Hell is, as I said, probably one of the most iconic albums and songs ever. So we're going to have a little look at the artwork here. And funnily enough, just a very quick note about the name Highway to Hell. Atlantic Records were very against the use of it, which I think is obvious. It's almost obvious why they're against it. But if you look up some background to the song, it's not about hell. Obviously, it's obviously the artwork would say otherwise, but I was reading prior to this an interview with Angus saying it's obviously not about hell. It's about touring and the hard life of almost being near broke musicians touring. So let's have a look at the artwork quickly. I love this. I love this LP. I love all of acdc's LP covers. But I think this one is great, mostly because you've got this really iconic photo of Angus. There are a lot of photos of Angus that have circulated over the years, but I think this one is probably one of the most iconic, with obviously, the whole kind of devil attire. You've got this snarl, which for some reason ends up on a lot of media to do with acdc, and the devil horns, which look really cool as well. They don't look cliche. Obviously when you think devil horns, you kind of think like, you know, two little horns, but these are the almost, you know, almost like goat horns. They look really cool. And then he's holding the tail. I love, obviously you've got the rest of the band on the left, but I love Bond's smile here. I think it's lovely. I think he's got such a heartwarming smile, and I don't know if they chose the attire they were going to wear, but one thing that I'm just seeing here that's quite interesting is obviously there's this idea of, you know, devil and angel on your shoulders. So you got the devil on one shoulder and you got an angel on the other. It is quite fitting that Bond would be standing over one of Angus's shoulders, kind of wearing black, with that kind of, you know, that laugh, and then Malcolm on the other shoulder wearing white. I don't know if that's what they were going for. Again, Malcolm looks cool as well. Malcolm always looks cool. But then you got Phil and Cliff, and I love this lineup. I love this lineup, and the Back in Black lineup as well. The instrumentation lineup of Cliff, Malcolm, Angus, and Phil is just a powerhouse, really, and it proves that even, you know, with whether it's Bon or whether it's Brian on vocals, both vocalists, it's a powerhouse lineup. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I like the kind of almost minimalist approach, having a really small logo at the top and the album name really small at the bottom. I like that, and I like the gradient in the background as well. I like the wall they're on. You've got this vignette going around the exterior, and I really like that. On the spine, you have Highway to Hell printed, and then let's have a quick look at the back of the sleeve. Again, a really cool band photo, almost a really different band photo. I don't know if that's from the same shoot, but everyone looks a little bit different. Obviously, Angus is still the schoolboy and still looking manic, but then everyone else just looks really cool. Not that Angus doesn't look cool. Angus always looks cool, but I think everyone just kind of they look very 70s. I mean, look at Bond's trousers, they're great, you know, but they do certainly look like they are from the period. So I love that the photo is not taking up the whole of the back cover, and instead is just kind of, you know, as you can see, it's just placed lightly in the middle, so you have a lot of space here for the track listing, and then you have a lot of space here for your credits. And there are a lot of credits for this album. So I'll quickly look at the track listing. I'll read it out, and then later on, after we've had a look at the disc, we will then go back and just talk about the track listing. So on side 1, we have Highway to Hell, Girls Got Rhythm, Walk All Over You, Touch Too Much, and Beating Around the Bush. And on side 2, we have Shot Down in Flames, Guess It's Hot, If You Want Blood, You've Got It, Love Hungry Man, and Night Prowler. And then for the credits, obviously we've got Angus and Malcolm on guitar, Bon on vocals, Phil on drums, and Cliff on bass. And it was produced by Robert John Mutt Lange. I want to say Lange or Lang. I would almost say Mutt Lang, I think, but with the E on the end, it looks like Mutt Lange. But a very iconic producer there. It was recorded at Roundhouse Studios in London, and we have a number of engineers here who worked on it, both mixing, mastering, and recording. And as it says here at the bottom, it was remastered from the original master tapes by George Marino at Sterling Sound, as all of these 2003 remasters were. So let's have a look at the sleeve. As this is a 2003 remaster, we have these gorgeous card picture sleeves with all the info on, and I mean, striking me at first immediately is a photo of Angus with an ES335. That's not something you see every day. I mean, also not in the schoolboy uniform, but I don't know where this photo comes from. I obviously doesn't come from one of their shows as acdc. Perhaps it's from rehearsal, maybe, or maybe it's from a different band. I'm not sure. So again, on this back sleeve we have some great. This is the girls. Girls Got Rhythm, handwritten lyrics from Bon. this great written piece, a review, which I could read to you if you wanted to, but there's a lot of info there. This is a cool photo as well. This photo almost looks like it could have been around the Dirty Deeds era, maybe more 1974, but I don't think it was. I imagine, I mean, this photo of Bon is very iconic as well. It's very, very iconic. These are great photos, absolutely great photos. I mean, look at this photo. What an incredible photo that really is. And also here, the Highway to Hell written lyrics, just faintly there. What I do want to point out is that the lyric is "living easy," and I know a lot of people get this wrong. And if I recall, I think even live, it's sung "living easy, living free," but the lyrics here say "living easy, loving free," which I've always thought was the case, but it's nice to see that's actually written down by Bon. So maybe that'll put it to rest, put it to bed. I'm not sure, but I think these are great. These are great card inserts. It's nice to have just a paper one, like with Powerade, like with the old ones, like with most records, to be honest. But it is also really nice to have these amazing photos, these amazing pieces of history, and these lovely written pieces. So let's take a quick look at the disc. The disc is going to be rather basic. As with all of the remasters from 2003, it really is just Highway to Hell. Let me hold this up. I apologise. I'm trying a new setup today for recording these. I'm using an old webcam on the top, so it might not be the best quality. There we go. Actually, that's not too bad. So we have this black label, as always, with the red acdc logo and the track listing on. It's really nothing special for the label, but it's nice to see the red acdc logo. That's the main thing. And the album name, as with all of these, they're just printed in the same text, in the same font, almost. It's like Arial. Again, we've got a lovely 180 gram, which is gorgeous. I've got some fingerprints on it. Actually, I need to give this a really good clean. Perhaps I'll do a video cleaning my vinyl records, because I've said 3 videos in a row now. I've said, oh, I need to give this a clean. So perhaps I'll do a video cleaning them. So I mean, to be honest, that's all we really need to look at with the disc. So now I want to talk to you quickly about the track listing. I was going to play the LPs in these videos, but I think, because now I'm doing reactions as well, I think I might leave reactions. I'll leave songs to the reactions, because that way they'll get copyright striked, and then I can leave these reviews copyright free. I think that's what I want to do. So I would play some in the background. Perhaps, if it would be cool, I could maybe do like a companion video to these reviews and listen to like maybe 2 songs, 2 of my favorite songs. We'll see. You know, it's what people would like to see is the main thing. So let's talk about the track listing now, because this is a powerhouse album, and it is easily one of my top acdc favorites. So Highway to Hell is, of course, one of the most iconic songs of all time. I think you could go anywhere and play the chorus to Highway to Hell, and everyone would join in. Everyone would know it. Everyone knows Highway to Hell. With Highway to Hell, it's a very basic song. The instrumentation isn't anything crazy, but I think that's good. I think that's, again, it's recognizable. Instrumentation doesn't have to be basic to be recognizable or easily recognizable. I mean, even if we just keep it to AC/DC, you've got songs like Thunderstruck, which is not a basic song, and that is, again, one of the most instantly recognizable songs, or rock songs at least. But I do want to talk with Highway to Hell about both the guitar solo and the outro solo. So whilst, you know, with Highway to Hell you have 3 chords, maybe four. There are four chords in the song, and that's fine. And then you come to this guitar solo, which is one of my favorites of all time. I really love just the first few seconds of the solo where Angus is bending. I think he's bending the G string. It's 7th fret on the G string, and then he's using these double stops. And I love double stops anyway. Double stops will always remind me of kind of Chuck Berry, but a little bit bluesy, especially when they're used in rock. I think it's really cool because it brings back this this feeling of kind of blues to a rock song, and you can almost hear the roots of the artists. And then I just love the whole solo. The whole solo I think is a really fresh and beautiful piece of guitar work, honestly. And then once the solo is finished, Angus then it's almost like improvisation. It's obviously it's not. He never played it live. The interesting thing with Highway to Hell is that Angus never played the solo at the end of the song, the kind of little licks over the chorus. The only time I know that he has done, he might have done, and I'm sure there are people who know this, so please correct me, because I know I'm probably wrong. The only time I've heard him do it was at the Grammys in 2015. And I was surprised then to hear it. As far as I'm aware, I don't think he's done it with Brian Johnson. Maybe in 1979, obviously there was only one tour that they did, so he might have played that solo in the 1979 tour, since it was fresh off the album, but I'm not sure. But I love it. I think there are some really gorgeous licks in there, and some really kind of like there are some little licks that will kind of almost make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up and think, wow, that is absolutely phenomenal. Girls Got Rhythm is another really cool song. This is one I used to listen to a lot when I was a bit younger, maybe when I was about kind of 14, 15. I love the intro riff is really cool, and I love Bond's vocals as well. I think the vocals in the pre-chorus to this song are really cool. There's, they might not be the most exciting during the verses, and then the choruses are a little bit not repetitive, but they are very, very much the same. But the pre-choruses, Bond really kind of there are some where he really hammers the lines, and you can hear that he's giving it his all, and you can hear with every word that he is just really sending it home, and I love that. So Girls Got Rhythm is definitely a personal favorite too. I love that song. I think the intro riff is amazing. Walk All Over You is also one of my personal favorites. And I think Walk All Over You is such a cool song. I love the slow start. I love the gentle chords. And then you've got this they play E, and then you've got a little walk up to G, and I love that walk up to G. I think that's amazing. And then the song just suddenly hits you. It's like a bullet from a gun. It starts off with this slow, and the drums slowly come in, and Malcolm slowly comes in, and it's kind of, you'd almost get the vibe that it's going to be a slow song, and then suddenly it's like a car waiting on a racetrack at the start line, and you're revving your engine and you're getting ready, and suddenly that car it's like a launch control. The car just shoots off, and you're suddenly thrown into this amazing rock song. And you can almost as well, when I listen to this song, I can almost picture Angus kind of duck walking to it, which some AC/DC songs you can, some you can't. But with this, you can it's almost like Rocker. You can hear when it starts to kick off. You can suddenly, in my head, I can just picture Angus kind of just going off down the stage and going crazy. Touch Too Much. Now, Touch Too Much, I have a fact for you about. But again, I love this song because this is a little bit more of this is a gentler song. This is a little bit softer for an AC/DC song. So Touch Too Much was originally recorded in July 1977 with a radically different arrangement and lyrics from its Highway to Hell incarnation. Now, at the end of the video, or not even at the end, I'm going to put a text box right here. And that's the name of the original song, because it's on Backtracks. I know it is. I've listened to it a lot on Spotify. So there's the original name for the song, It might actually be Touch Too Much still. I think it's very possibly still Touch Too Much. I know some of the Backtracks versions have different names, but I'll put a link in the comments as well to a YouTube version of it so you can hear the original if you want to. But Touch Too Much is a really cool song. I love the kind of this pulsing, kind of pumping start to the song. And then you've got it was one of those nights when she turns down the lights, and it's just such a cool song. I believe they played the song live for the first time on the Rockwell Bus tour with Axl Rose, and I think did they play it once? They might have played it once on the tour, and I think that was the only time it was ever played live, which is cool. It was cool. I was a little bit on the fence with Axl playing, with Axl fronting and taking over from Brian for the rest of that tour, but it was nice to see some of these earlier Bond songs, or not earlier Bond songs, but to hear some of these earlier AC/DC and any Bond songs from that range. I mean, Problem Child as well was played, and I didn't get to hear it, but hearing Riff Raff live was amazing. There were some songs, and Rock and Roll Damnation too, there were some that would never have been shown or played with Brian, perhaps. Beating Around the Bush is the first song on this album that I would consider almost not missable. It is a very good song, but I wouldn't listen to it again if I was listening to the album. So there are songs on here, to be honest, even Highway to Hell I almost wouldn't go back to. If I was going to listen to this album and sit down and listen to it once, that's great. But then when if I go through to choose songs, I'd listen to Touch Too Much, Walk All Over You, If You Want Blood, but I'll cover side 2 in a second, because side 2 is arguably even better than side 1. In fact, I say arguably, side 2 is incredible. But Beating Around the Bush is not a song that I really go back to listen to, but it's still a very good song. It's got a very fun, fast intro. It's got a very fun, fast verse. I like that the vocals are isolated in the chorus. I like that the vocal is just, the chorus is literally just Bond saying "beating around the bush," and then you get this really cool fast lick. I love that. But for me, it's just not something that I go back to when I listen to the album. So side 2, Shot Down in Flames, is one hell of a song. From the lyrical content to the lovely, the intro, this kind of rolling intro, and then it goes into that riff that's so recognizable, which I think is really cool. The descending riff, I think, is really cool. And then the actual lyrical content and the meaning behind the song also is really cool. I love just the I said, baby, what's the going price? She told me to go to hell, and then you got Shot Down in Flames. I think that's great. I think it's amazing. I love that song. Get It Hot is another. I really love the instrumentation. I love that both the guitars hammer at the start, and then only one's playing the riff. And to be honest, off the top of my head, I can't remember which, but I imagine it's Angus playing the little riff. But Get It Hot again. I love the vibe to it. I'm just you can shut your eyes and you can hear it and you can feel it. The cruising down the motorway. I love that. I love the lyrics. And I love Bond's voice in it. I love how he kind of almost screams in the chorus with Get It Hot, but then, I mean, in the whole song even, some of Bond's vocals on this album are some of his best that they ever recorded, in my opinion. Again, it's not fact, it's opinion. Although I would be close to saying it's fact. But Bond sounded amazing across all of their albums. He was a powerhouse vocalist. But there is soft songs on this album, and there are really heavy songs. There are really kind of hard-hitting. You've got one foot in front of the other, and you're bracing for impact. Bon is giving you his all in this album, and that's the same with Get It Hot. To Get It Hot is a great song. If You Want Blood, You've Got It is probably my second favourite song on this LP. I cannot get enough of this song. Malcolm's guitar intro is incredible. Again, you start with both guitars hammering the A chord, and then Malcolm's got this almost shoot to thrill-esque rhythm part, and it's so addictive. And then the drums start to come in, and the drums are beginning to crescendo, and you've got this I think it's probably Bon just on the vocals making a hissing sound, and it almost kind of sounds like blood spraying. And the music video is awesome as well. When Bon stabs Angus with a guitar, I think that's pretty cool. But I love the chorus is just so kind of rousing, and you can feel yourself kind of feet stamping and arm kind of, arm shaking. If you want blood, you've got it. And then you've got the blood, the backing vocals, and then Bon, it's almost like a call and response. You've got the backing vocals saying blood, and then Bon saying on the streets, blood on the rocks, and then they all come together for every last drop, and I love that. I love that song so much. Love Hungry Man is an interesting song because I love it. I love Hungry Man. I think it's a great song, and I think it was a kind of a breath of fresh air with this album to go into a different direction. I think the tenderness almost of the song is nice to see on an acdc song, but Angus Young feels otherwise. I have a statement here from Angus saying, when asked, what's the worst record you've made? Angus replies, there's a song on Highway to Hell called Love Hungry Man, which I must have written after a night of bad pizza. You can blame me for that. I don't think he should be blamed at all. I think Love Hungry Man's a great song. I think the chorus is really cool. I think the vocal melody in the chorus is really nice. I think everything about the song is really nice. It is one of the songs I go back to the most on this LP, to be honest. Rather than something like Beating Around the Bush or Girls Got Rhythm, I would rather go back to Love Hungry Man because I think it's different for acdc, and I like that. I like the uniqueness of this song. And the album closer, which is a rather controversial song, is Night Prowler. And Night Prowler, again, is one of my favourite songs. It's in the top 3 favourite songs of this album. If I had to put a top 3 on this album, I would say it would probably be... I think I would say Love Hungry Man is my favourite from the album, and then If You Want Blood, and then Night Prowler. I think they're my top 3 at least. It changes so much. It changes so much. But Night Prowler, again, is a really lovely, like, kind of, obviously the lyrical content is quite dark, but it's a really lovely, soft song. And I love that. I love, it's really kind of got a good vibe. And then you've got this, so you've got just single chords being strummed as the song begins, and it's slow. It's really slow. A slow build. And then you've got that little riff that then leads into Angus pulling off this solo at the start of the song, which is in my opinion, it's one of my favourite Angus solos, because it's bluesy and it's kind of raw and it's fun and it's different. That's what I love, is that it's different. It's not the same as what you find on other albums. And then Bon's kind of low, then it comes back into, you go through a solo, and then it comes into really gentle, almost clean chords just being strummed. And Bon's got quite a, he's not hammering these vocals, he's not shouting. It's just, somewhere a clock strikes midnight, and it's almost like he's talking to you. It's like he's telling you a tale. And then, of course, he does shout later on in the song. He does kind of scream a bit. But this obviously was an infamous song, or is an infamous song, because of its association with serial killer Richard Ramirez, which I would rather not go into. You can look it up yourself. By all means, look it up. It's quite dark, and I think wrongly associated with acdc, and gave acdc a lot of bad press, when it was just probably more someone using them as a scapegoat, I think. So Highway to Hell, again, favourite songs. If I was going to put these in order of favourites, I'd say Love Hungry Man, If You Want Blood, Night Prowler. Let's go with Walk All Over You next, then Touch Too Much, then Shot Down in Flames, Highway to Hell, Get It Hot, and Beating Around the Bush. Have I said Girls Got Rhythm? Girls Got Rhythm's probably in there as well, probably more like number 6. It's an amazing album. It's hard to kind of point these down. I would say that Beating Around the Bush is my least favourite track on the album, just because there are so many greats on this album. But Highway to Hell, I would give this LP I mean, it's so hard not to give this a 10 out of 10. 5 out of 5. Am I doing this out of 10? I'm doing this out of 10, right? 10 out of 10. It's hard not to. How can you not put Highways of Hell at 10 out of 10? It's an incredible album, and it's Bond's last, and it's arguably, you know, one of the biggest AC/DC albums. It's got some real hard hitters and some great soft songs on it. I love the album. I love it so much. So, thank you for listening to this review. I hope you can find some form of enjoyment in these reviews. I know they're quite long, and I apologise for that. As always, you know, I'll always put timestamps in the comments, and there should be chapters for all of this anyway. If you have a song you want to see reacted to, again, I'm doing reactions now, so feel free to request a song to be reacted to. Next up is Back in Black, which is going to be good. Like I said, I'm probably going to do that today as well. I might do 2 when I film these, so you'll see me looking the same. But Happy New Year. Thank you so much for checking this out. If you like the video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. It would really help me out. It's cool. It helps me gauge whether I've done something right or something wrong with the video, and I can kind of steer my content in a direction that you enjoy. And if you want to subscribe, feel free to. You don't have to. I'd greatly appreciate it, but hey, we're all here to chill. We're all here for the ride, right? Thank you so much for watching, and have an amazing rest of your day.